Last week I went to a bloggers event to celebrate the launch of Clinique's new skincare product. This is not sponsored, but I thought I would make a little review video for their new Clinique Moisture Surge 72-hour Auto-Replenishing Hydrator.
Yeah, that one.
This way?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Does it now say 27?
Oh yeah!
I have used the old formula of this product for a few years now, so as I'm reviewing it, I'm kind of going to be doing it not just as a standalone product, but also in comparison to its former self as well. And just while I've got your attention, if you've never seen my face before, I make videos at least once a week. Quite often they are review videos, makeup themed videos, but not always. My channel's a little bit of a mixed bag, but if you're into this kind of thing, I would love it if you would hit subscribe and stick around. Also, if you enjoy this kind of video or you find this video useful in any way or informative, I'd really love it if you'd give it a thumbs up. It just kind of helps me to measure what sort of content you guys like and what I should make more of. So that's my self-promo done for the video. The first thing that I'm going to talk about is the clinical claims and ingredients. So if you don't know, clinical claims are what the brand claims the product does. So I asked for the press release of the product just because I like to see what the claims and aims for the product are before I use it, especially for these videos because I like to be able to structure them properly, but also because I really like to find out the ingredients and why they use those ingredients, because obviously if you're putting something on your skin, then it's important that you know what that is. So I'm just going to talk you through a few little bits that I learned from those. So the first thing about this product is that it is oil-free, the same as its previous formula. The fact that it was oil-free was one of my favourite things about it because I have combination oily skin and it is nice to hydrate your skin without worrying about putting more oil onto it, because sometimes that's the last thing you want to do if you've got oily skin like mine. Excuse me looking down for a moment, I just don't want to get this wrong, but the press release says that it is a luscious and fast absorbing gel cream hydrator that delivers an unprecedented 72 hours of continuous moisture even after washing your face. So the idea is that once you put this on, it will continue to also replenish the hydration of your skin for up to 72 hours even after you've washed your face. The press release also claims that it will help with fine lines, flakiness, dryness and tightness by strengthening your skin's moisture barrier, and that it should leave skin with a plump, dewy glow. Ingredients wise, it contains hyaluronic acid, which I was a little bit skeptical about because I don't like the idea of something called acid being put onto my face, but when I looked it up, basically it's just a moisturising agent. So the hyaluronic acid is supposed to deliver an instant moisture boost of 152%. So they claim that the product creates a thin mesh kind of layer on the skin's surface which locks that moisture in, so it kind of works a bit like a primer in my head. That's how I made sense of it anyway. And then I'm going to read this from the press release and then tell you my interpretation of it. So they said, activated aloe water and caffeine help skin to create its own water source to continually rehydrate itself, and draws and distributes water from the skin's depths up to the surface, so every layer of the epidermis is saturated with sustainable moisture. So I know what all of those words mean, but it took me a few times to read that, and then I was just kind of researching into what they actually meant and how it's supposed to do that. So all of this information I've just found on the internet and kind of tried to put it together in a way that makes sense to me. I'm not an expert, etc, etc. If you have any qualms about what I'm saying, look it up for yourself, speak to a skincare consultant. I'm just telling you what I think. So from what I can gather, your skin has something that's called a transepidermal electrical potential, which is a natural pump within the skin which works to take moisture from the natural reservoir of moisture in your skin in the deeper layers and bring it to the surface, which is what makes your skin look and feel sort of healthy and hydrated. But this pump kind of becomes damaged over time, hence baby skin being so soft, and then as we get older we kind of lose that. So the aloe water and the caffeine work to stimulate that pump and get it working again. Now obviously I've got a full face of makeup on, so I'm going to pass you over to previous me who is trying out the product, not for the first time, but as part of my routine. So they say that you should apply the moisturiser twice a day to a clean face, liberally over the entire face after the appropriate 3 steps. So that's what I've been doing. I just want to say that although these are all Clinique products, they are not sponsored. The only thing that's been gifted to me is the Moisture Surge. I have always used all Clinique products just because I find that they work best with my skin. I have tried different brands in the past and they're fine, but I always revert back to Clinique. And if you've seen many of my videos, you will know that I come back to these all the time. So I don't want you to think that I'm sucking up to Clinique in any way because this is a Clinique video. This is genuinely what I use when I'm filming anything or when I'm not filming. So the first thing that we have is the Foaming Sonic facial soap, and I use this on my Sonic brush. Obviously I'm not in my bathroom at the moment because the lighting in there's awful, but this, I have just put a little bit of water on this to dampen it, and so I'm just going to pop a tiny bit of the soap on there. And then when you set this to go, it runs for 30 seconds, so you can just sort of really lightly buff your skin. It really doesn't take very much. It does definitely feel instantly clean and instantly a lot more kind of glowy after I've done the Sonic brush, but that's not what we're talking about today. So my next step is this, the clarifying lotion. I use this in number 3. This is like it's not really a toner, it's a liquid exfoliator. Hang on, I just need to go and get some cotton pads. I've seen that in America they do these with a pump on the top, and so you literally can just like put your cotton wool pad on the top and like pump it and it comes out, and I want one of those so bad. So the trick with the clarifying lotion is that you need to get some all over your face, but you should only swipe one area once. It does contain alcohol, but that alcohol evaporates the second it hits the skin, so it does not cause any damage at all. And it also has menthol in it, which makes your skin feel really kind of minty. Now it's time for the Moisture Surge. So as we've talked about, this is the new Moisture Surge, so the 72-hour Auto-Replenishing Hydrator. It says to apply it liberally to the whole face, so that's what I'm going to do. It is a kind of gel texture, so it's really light, it's really cooling. So that's my skincare done, and that's what I've been doing for the last few days. I'm a very big fan of it, actually. I think it is a little bit on the tacky side, kind of once you've done. It feels like yeah, tacky. It feels like it hasn't quite dried yet. I assume that in a few minutes it won't feel that way, but also I quite like that because it feels like my skin is really prepped for my makeup. I'm sorry for the change in quality, my camera just died, and it's kind of important that I finish this now, so I've just switched cameras. It feels very smooth and soft, and not at all oily, which is nice. It has definitely, after a couple of minutes, started to settle into my skin a lot more, which I like. I actually quite like the fact that my skin didn't like drink it up straight away, because I've been using it for a few days now, so I think that kind of means that my skin wasn't as desperate for the moisture, which is probably good. That sounds good to me. So yeah, if you are looking for an oil-free, really light, really hydrating moisturiser, I would really recommend trying this. Obviously all skin is different, but I'm pretty sure if you pop into your local Clinique counter, they would be able to either try some on you on counter or maybe give you a little sample for you to take home. When I was at the event, they also really stressed how good it was under makeup, so I'm going to put my makeup on now and then you can be the judge of how good it was for that. Overall, I am impressed with the product. I like the way that it works well with the rest of the 3-step. As with all Clinique products, it has no scent, so it's 100% fragrance free, so that you're not putting kind of rubbish just for the sake of it smelling nice on your face. But personally, I do think it has kind of like a clean smell, which is nice. When I was at the event, they also told me about a few other uses that you can use it for, one of which being that you can apply it over makeup, which I was a bit skeptical about, but I have since tried. I'll show you now actually. It's nice if you're somebody who does suffer with dry skin, I would imagine. I don't particularly, but it's fun to try anyway. So basically, if you just take, this is just from the lid, if you just take a tiniest amount on a finger and just kind of dab it into any kind of dry areas throughout the day, then you'll be able to see in a second that my makeup literally hasn't moved, and I think that's really cool. But I can feel the benefits of it in my skin straight away. Like, my skin there feels very refreshed and hydrated. I think I will be very appreciative of that when, you know, when you've got a cold or you've just had a cold and you kind of get like red and dry patches around your nose, and just my skin is so dry after I've been ill anyway. I think it'll be really good for then, because I can just carry it around and just quickly like pop some moisturiser and some hydration into my skin when it's feeling a bit rubbish without having to take all my makeup off. They also say that you can use it as a 5-minute facial mask, which I haven't actually done yet, but I'm excited to give that a go. So they said that if you want to do that, you can just apply a thick layer over your whole face and leave it on for about 5 minutes. You can then either allow it to soak in or you can kind of tissue it off, and apparently that should leave your skin feeling really nice and soft. You can also use it as a cuticle cream, which I have done. I don't really know what to look for in a good cuticle cream, so I couldn't tell you whether it's better than sort of product designed specifically for cuticle cream, but I've just been putting a tiny little bit on my like nail bed and rubbing it in, and it feels nice. Another use that I found, and this absolutely terrified me, it's a bit of an exaggeration, I was skeptical when I was at the event, was that the Clinique consultants were saying that you could take some of this and put it on the ends of your hair to make it less dry. I'm in desperate need of a haircut. I'm literally waiting for a text back from my hairdresser currently. I put some of that on the ends of my hair this morning and I was a bit worried that it would make it really greasy, but I don't think it looks greasy, do you? I actually think it's done a really good job. The other thing that they said was that it was quite good to get rid of baby hairs, and I've kind of put it on the top there. Oh, it might have kind of worn off now. But yeah, I think because of how light the gel texture of it is, you can kind of use it on your hair and on your nails and in lots of other uses because it's not too heavy and it doesn't feel like it's going to clog anything up, which is really nice. They also said that you can use it on any other dry areas of your skin, like, well, they suggested your elbows. And it's funny because I'm actually wearing a top with elbow holes by accident today, so I'm going to pop some on my elbows. So one of the other things that they talked about at the event was using it as a highlighter, or with a highlighter, to make it a really nice kind of natural daytime glowy look. So here I have my Clinique Hefty Highlight Stick. This is really nice. It's like a cream highlight. And then obviously I've got my Moisture Surge. I hope you're enjoying my Beauty and the Beast pyjamas, by the way. They're from Topshop. So I'm going to take some, I'm just taking some from the lid just because there's some excess there. That's way too much. So I've just got some Moisture Surge and I'm just going to pop it on my hand, as you can see. And then I'm going to kind of rub some of this and work it in to make it kind of more pearlescent. And as you can see, it changes, not texture, but colour fairly quickly. So now it's sort of completely taken on the colour of the highlighter stick, which is really cool. I don't know to what extent you can see that, but I'll put it on my face in a sec, so you'll see it then. Ooh, look at that. That's really nice. Okay, let me try the other side and then I'll show you what it looks like all together. I wasn't too sure about it at the event, you know, because I quite like quite bright highlight, but looking at it now, I've put it in slightly the wrong place, so just ignore me. But actually, I think it gives a really nice kind of, yeah, just a nice glow. I feel like I look quite healthy, which is nice. So my final thoughts are, I really like this moisturiser. I think that I was a bit sceptical about the change from one formula to another, but I actually really like the very subtle differences. I quite like the kind of tacky feel at the end because I think it adds some grip for your makeup. I like the idea that it's kind of keeping my makeup on well, and I think you can probably see that my makeup has sat really nicely on my skin today, and I've not changed anything else about my routine, only this, so I think it must be doing a good job. I like the fact that it's still oil free. I know that in reality it probably doesn't make much difference, and I know that you should moisturise your skin when you've got oily skin anyway, but I like the thought of having an oil free moisturiser more than I like an oily moisturiser, if that makes sense. My skin definitely looks and feels brighter. I've been using this for about 3 or 4 days now, and I have definitely noticed a difference. I also really like looking into those clinical claims and kind of the ingredients and all that, because I find the technology that goes into specifically Clinique skincare, but I imagine most skincare, so fascinating and so clever. But what do you think? Have you tried this? If you have, I would love to know what you thought. If you have tried the old one, I would love to know what you thought about the change from one to the other. And if not, what do you use? If you have any more questions about the product, you can leave them in the comments below and I will try and answer them as best I can. Obviously, I can only speak from my own experience, but I will do my best. As I said, if you've enjoyed this video, I'd really love it if you would give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. Let me know what you would like me to review next, and I will see you next Saturday.
Go on now, go on, go. Walk out the door, out that door. Just turn around now, 'cause you're not welcome anymore. Once you're the one who tried to hurt me with goodbye, did you think I'd crumble? Do you think I'd lay down and die? Oh no, not I. I will survive.